guys actually enjoy treating your customers like a piece of shit, because that's how I felt when I went to the Alamo Draft House. Okay? You know what? I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to text in your little crappy-ass theater. It was too fucking dark in that place for me to find my seat, alright? I was using my phone as a flashlight to get to my fucking seat. So excuse me for using my phone in USA, the United States of America, where you are free to text in a theater. I was not aware that I couldn't text in your theater, all right? I've texted in all the other theaters in Austin, and no one ever gave a fuck about what I was doing on my fucking phone, all right? And it was on silent. It wasn't on loud. It wasn't bothering anybody. You guys, obviously, were being assholes to me, and I'm sure that's what you do, you know, to rip people off. You take my money, and then you throw me out. You know, I will never be coming back to your Alamo Draft House or whatever. I'd rather go to a regular theater where people are actually polite. And, you know, I'm going to tell everyone about how you are. And I'm pretty sure you guys are being on purpose. So thanks for making me feel like a customer. Thanks for taking my money.
Phenom Radio is the home of the hottest indie music. Tune into the Phenom Radio Top 20 Countdown, Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific.
A razor sharp hustle, rate your paws hustle, when the sun.
So many times I played the fool, man, held below. I'm too fly to be sitting here lonely, feeling for the ride, wanna put it on me. Pittsburgh. When you get inside and when I grind it, I can't deny it, feels so exciting, deeper. Is no restart. Result.
A better job, a better home, a better life. Who hasn't wished for these things, worked for them, and sought a place where they had a better chance of becoming real? For generations, Brockton has welcomed those seeking something better. From those who came in search of opportunity to today's multicultural population that makes us the most diverse community in all of New England. Brockton is a place where homes are more affordable, communities closer, where a strong and talented workforce fuels the success of businesses big and small, and the vision of a more diverse and equitable America is being realized every day. It's where ideas take root, businesses grow, communities thrive, new beginnings unfold, and the promise of a better life is kept. Brockton, Massachusetts, where better begins.
Time to grow up. You got a problem with your self-esteem and ego. Well,
I know what you're thinking. Is this the booth, drafting the circuits, three-way theater, or the Kevin Jackson show? Well, to tell you the truth, in all this excitement, I kinda lost track myself here on Hoobazoo.com. So, do you feel lucky, punk?
It's caught in the crossfire.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
This is blasphemy. This is madness. This is the booth.
Broadcasting live from the City of Champions. You are watching The Booth, and I got to thank my guests from last week. First Tuesdays, Ken Diesel, Rob Resnick, the Corda, came on, chopped it up with the legal stuff, chopped it up with the politics stuff, and we was holding it down. It was a good time on the show. We did what we needed to do. My first guest is here up in the upper left-hand corner, but let me get you my sponsors first. My sponsors right now, Michael Douglas Barreto, MDB Electronics. If you're a gamer like me and your controller starts to drift or fade or pull to the other side like me, I'm a big gamer. I'm on Call of Duty. I'm on Madden, and the new Madden's coming out in 2 weeks. So my controller's got to be right. If it breaks, I send it out to him. My man fixes it. You're back to gaming 24, 48 hours. The best thing about it with him is that you send your controller out. You pay the $24.95. He puts a little sticker inside. If it breaks or drifts again, guess what? Lifetime warranty. That's clutch if you're a gamer. That's clutch. Viana Marie's music is out there right now, 494,000 streams. Let's keep pushing her music. Let's get it up to 500,000. All of her music is available now. The last project is It's Personal. Viana Marie is bumping on all major streaming outlets. Also, Tactical Target Systems. When you see me at the range and you see these hot zombie targets, I'm always trying to see if I can put them up on the screen. Like, I'm trying to show you all this. Look at this. Look at that right there. Oh, man. Let me see if I come back. They're life-size, but they're zombies, you know? And you got to go out there and get these zombie targets because they're on point. Also, I Love Boston Sports. You can win a t-shirt if you're in the chat. And Kibble Ian Empowerment Photography, as you see here, featuring Viana Marie. Before we get into the news booth, my first guest is here. I'm going to let my man, he's on here to talk about a lot of stuff. Got a video, got his clothing line sitting here in front of us, got his hat sitting here in front of us. Bring it. Let them know who you are, man. Tell them what you got going on.
What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good, world? My name is TJ Soares, and I mean, I'm from Providence, Rhode Island. I'm out here just grinding, doing my thing, man. Music, fashion, movies, everything. I mean, arts, graphic designs, everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm designing my own clothes. I'm wearing my own clothes. I'm stepping in the building looking fresh as I is all the time. You already know.
Now that shirt, because because we right now we kind of, you know what I'm saying? That shirt's yours. That's your brand. Yeah. Oh, that. I got but the shirt, but the shirt, because everybody who knows Sinister One, they know the type of shit I like to wear. You know, when I go out, if I'm in Vengeance and riding around, they know I like to wear some shit that pops. And I'm looking at the shirt, I'm like, yo, is that his gear right there? Because I might need a 3XL.
Everything pops. I got you. Everything pops. You know what I'm saying? Like, I design the clothes to be like, I know, like, on some designer. It can sit next to a Gucci. It can sit next to all them top brands and still, stand with them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, and the quality is good. The quality is good.
I'm looking. If you can pull your mic a little bit closer, because your mic's got you going in and out. If you can get your mic closer to you, there you go. That might work. Yeah. Well, before we get into this music, let's talk about this clothing brand, man. Let's talk about this. How you got into this? Was it the clothing first, or was it the music first?
Nah, so it's always the music first. You know what I'm saying? But basically, what happened is when everything shut down, there was nothing else to do. So I started just like messing with the graphic designs to really just trying to figure out ways to make my own covers for my music, to match my music, the way I see it, the way I hear it, the way I actually visualize it. You know what I'm saying? I want the covers to match the music. So I started like, let me see if I can add this to some clothes, and they're like that. Once I started doing it, and the confidence of me designing and getting more flyer with everything that I'm doing, I'm like, oh yeah, I can do it. Like, you know what I mean? So I've been designing ever since then.
Nice. Now the hat's fire. Like I said, the shirt is fire, but the music, you're coming with a whole different kind of flow. You got the auto tune on this track that you're going to be introducing to us. Your flow's kind of laid back. How long you been doing this? How long you been in this music game in this Boston area?
I've been doing music forever. Like, I'm saying, since I was a kid. Like teenage years now. But like, it's just a passion. I gotta do music. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, anytime I'm in the studio, like, the music that I want to do, I want a vibe. I want to have a good time. Every time you hear my music, I want you to feel good. Like, you know what I mean? You look good, feel good. You know what I'm saying? The clothes match the music. The vibe matches the music. You know what I'm saying? We coming in the club, we popping champagne. Like, we having a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what the brand is. That's what I'm standing for. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're never going to get a cheeseburger over here. Like, you're always going to get some upscale. You know what I mean? It's just like shrimp, lobster, steak. Like, you know what I mean? Like, gonna eat good, we gonna look good, and the music gonna sound good. You know what I'm
saying? Right. Now you got some upcoming shows coming up with all this, because fall is when people start to really get some stuff popping.
Yeah. Well, I'll be at the car show this weekend coming up. You know what I'm saying? The second annual Cadillac D's car show.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And then I got a couple little situations out in New York that I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So Yeah.
Nice, nice.
I like to move around. Like, you know what I'm saying? You might catch me in Atlanta, you might catch me in Alabama. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, I'll be moving. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
cool. Now, one of the questions I like to have artists and rappers and people on my show, one of the questions I like to ask them is this one here, to just hear what they say. Sometimes I get surprised. Sometimes it's pretty much what I thought they were going to say. Now, when you making music, if you ever had someone ever said to you, you got to do a song with somebody, but step outside your comfort zone and mess with a different genre, who would that artist be if you had to step outside your comfort zone for $1 million to make a track with?
What you said? What would it be?
Who would it be? Comfort zone? If you had to come out your comfort zone for $1 million and do a track with somebody, who would it be?
For me, I want to work with Justin Bieber, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? So I will go with Justin Bieber. Like, I want to do something like that.
Really? Oh,
yeah. I like to try to do different music. So when I'm in the studio, like I have fun. Like, I mean, like, I'll come in the studio and majority of the times, like, I might not even have an idea of what I'm gonna do. I just go off of the vibe of the studio, off of the vibe of the beat, off of just how I'm feeling that day. You know what I'm saying? And put something together right there, like on the spot. I might just come up with the melody, cuz I like that beat. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, just record this just to get something started. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like to, like, I don't play like I don't like play in the studio. Like, I'm there to really work, so I work. You know what I mean? And I'm not scared to try things.
Right. And, you know, it's great to see somebody else. You know, not many people like to use the studio time the way studio time should be used, you know, and that's part of that's a sign of, you know, when people finally mature. You know, I find that a lot with a lot of rappers and musicians who have matured. You know, when you're younger, you think that the studio is supposed to be all your friends and drinking and you paying the engineer for 4 hours, but you only put in, you know, when you start maturing and realizing, you know, we here for the 4 hours. We're gonna be in front of the studio and the computer for 4 hours. Now, are you doing your production also on top of your writing?
So my cousin Hollow, that HTP joint on there. That's my cousin. You know what I'm saying? Hollow, and then another producer I work with a lot is playing too. But these are all Rhode Island based producers, you know what I mean? But the majority of the time, like, that's my sound. Like, we created that. You know what I'm saying? Like, me, Hollow, and Master Plan, because that's who I usually work with.
Right. And for those who haven't heard the music yet and stuff, I've listened to his music, and I feel like I have different moods when I like to listen to music. And, you know, when I heard your song, Champagne, like, I heard Champagne and Good Vibes, and already I was like, oh, that's a in the backyard, sitting in my gazebo, fire going, 9 o'clock at night, got my hard cider sitting there. Let me throw in this TJ Soares. Let me throw in this Champagne and Good Vibes, you know? And, you know, if anybody wants to come through, if they wanted to twist up in the open air, twist up. But that genre, that feel, I like it when music creates a feel. You know what I'm saying? Some music can get you amped up. But like I said, I heard that song right away. I was like, oh, man, this is one of these joints right here, you know? And you say it right in the lyrics. You know? And people gonna hear about this. How can people follow you on your social media? How can they check you out?
TJ Soares 401 on everything. TJ Soares 401 on everything.
There you go. That's good. I like that. And
that's everything.
If there was anything that you could change about the music business today, what would it be?
Just be fair. You know what I mean? Because you know, the game, they don't play it fair. You know what I mean? Like, be fair, really fair. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody can eat. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I feel you. I feel you. The top dogs are way up here making all that money. There's enough money for everybody to split that piece of that pie. But the gatekeepers like to keep all that for themselves. You know, you don't have to sit here and struggle and be struggling when, you know, there's enough room for a couple of artists to make it through them gates. You know, and you're exactly right. You know, you're exactly right. And I found that out, and I talk about it on here. One of my biggest pet peeves is when I learned about black box royalties. You know, when I found out that when artists weren't getting their royalties completely, the bigger artist was getting that money divvied up amongst them, you know. But now, because of Shazam and Spotify and all these things that can search and find your music, artists are now finally getting that money that they weren't getting before. You know, it's nice, because I see a lot of people will complain and say, oh, my music was here and it shut it down on Facebook. I'm like, but that's a good thing, because that means your music's being recognized and is being shut down so you can get your royalties. So make sure your paper and stuff is where it be, because that's why it's shutting down, because somebody's using your shit where it shouldn't be. So be happy about that. You know, I tell people that all the time, and they're like, oh, dude, I never knew that. I'm like, yeah, be happy about that. So you got a couple of shows coming up. You said you got this car show. We've got this video that we want to show that I'm going to let you introduce before I let you get out of here. But I got to ask you, tell me a song that's in your playlist that nobody would believe you have in your playlist.
In my playlist right now?
Yeah.
I listen to everything, yo. I was just listening to the other day. What was I just listening to? Oh, damn. Somebody's watching you. I always feel like somebody's watching you.
Yeah. Rockwell.
I mean,
Rockwell.
Yeah. Man, like, I listen to everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? So my playlist is crazy. I can be listening to Little Dirk one moment, and then I can be listening to Michael Jackson. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep. Who did the background vocals on that? That was a welfare feature for a lot of people who didn't know the history behind Somebody's Watching Me. Rockwell was a virtual nobody. He was nobody. He didn't even have a hit, didn't even have a song. Rockwell got Michael Jackson as like a welfare feature. You know, somebody's like, no, we gonna put this dude on your track for you. And what would you? Hey, it's this, man. What if you was Rockwell and somebody said, "Hey, we got to put this dude on this track," and Michael Jackson walks in? What would you been like in the studio, bro? Tell us.
You didn't even know what to do. Like, no shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, that's like Hope walking in the studio. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know what to do. You just gotta embrace the moment. Embrace the moment.
Gotta get your lyrics right. You go back and start rewriting shit. Hold on. This hook don't feel right, Michael. Oh man. Tell us a little bit about this video before we let you introduce it. Tell us about who your director was. The visuals are nice. But tell us a little bit about it and the inspiration for it.
So this is a song Champagne and Good Vibes, my album Spread Love Not Hate. You can find that on all streaming platforms. Know what I mean? And well, Champagne and Good Vibes, it just happened. Like it really just happened. Like I said, like how I came in the studio. I walked in the studio and Cuz was making a beat, and I'm like, oh, what's that? I'm like, yo, let that rock. And then the melody just stopped. And then I just started putting everything together like that. But the video itself, like, this is my treatment. Like when I was done with the song, I just knew like I wanted to do something different for the video. I'm like, yo, I want to be in the projects. Like I want to turn the projects into a mansion, maids, butlers, we popping champagne. I just had a vision of that. You know what I'm saying? So I started just putting the ideas together, and local vision, like that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Local. Like he always seems to like just bring all my ideas to life. You know what I'm saying? So when I come to him, like I was coming to him like 4 months before we even shot the video for this. Like I already knew what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? So, and I just wanted to bring the City L, whoever popped out, everybody was welcome to come. I wanted the video to be what the song was, to look like what the song was.
Yeah, and like I said to people, for me, when I heard this song, it was one of them songs where I was like, yep, I could see myself in the gazebo, sitting back, hard cider, getting ready to watch a movie in the backyard, but I gotta, just take this moment to relax. Before we let you introduce this video again, tell them how to find your social media one more time, man. And the clothing
DJ
too.
TJ Soares 401 on everything, and then you can Coleonclothing.com, Coleonclothing.com.
Okay, so we gotta get to make sure that's Yep, we gotta make sure we get somebody to put that in the chat so people can click on these links and whatever. But go ahead, man, bring that energy, introduce your video, and let them know.
Yes, sir. Pop a bottle of champagne right now, vibe with me. Yo, champagne and good vibes. This is what we doing all the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming with the good vibes. I just want you to feel good. Every time you come and see me on the stage, I'm coming to tear it up, though. We gonna have a good time every time. Champagne and good vibes. TJ Soares. Yes, sir. Peace.
All right, here we go. Champagne and good vibes. Let it roll.
Champagne and good vibes. Las Vegas count thousands. Champagne and good vibes. We can fly to Sicily just to eat Italian. Las Vegas penthouse, winning count thousands. Do you remember? Yeah, we grew up in them housing projects. La 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 la. Champagne and good vibes. Champagne and good vibes. La 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 la. Champagne and good vibes. Time to party like we just won the lotto. Smoking on that good kush. Jackpot celebrate till tomorrow. Popping bottles by the poolside. I used to pull up in that hoop ride. Yeah. You should see the cars outside. Red carpet pulling up at the venue. Champagne on the menu. Spread love, you don't want no issue. Yeah, ice, you got the diamonds in the crystals. That's what the VIP list do. Yeah. That's what the VIP list do. We can fly to Sicily just to eat Italian. Las Vegas penthouse, winning counting thousands. Do you remember? Yeah, we grew up in them housing projects.
That's the champagne niggas. That's the champagne niggas over there. We the good vibe niggas. You know what I'm saying? They ain't not even needed no more. They can go home. It's our turn.
La 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 la. Champagne and good vibes. Champagne and good vibes. La 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 la. Champagne and good vibes. Place to Dubai, my dream trip is white. Drip so crazy, ain't nigga flies me. Yeah, I get money, I'm Max B wavy. All white everything, Dolce and Gabbana. My chick so crazy, my whip so crazy. Pull up with my baby, flight to LA. The smoke on Marathon, yeah that OG. Flight to Jamaica, then shoot off to Haiti. We can fly to Sicily just to eat Italian. Las Vegas penthouse, winning counting thousands. Do you remember? Yeah, we grew up in them housing projects. La 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 la. Champagne and good vibes. Champagne and good vibes. La 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 la. Champagne and good vibes. Champagne and good vibes.
Yeah, see, I ain't ever been betrayed by an enemy. That shit is only ever come from them saying friend to me. They soul is black, soaking up all of my backup energy. I feel the drain through all the pain, depletes in its entirety. It's piracy, and any thought of reconciling blind to me. You were my people that I chose, you were my family. And didn't realize what you had, your bad need clarity. Because respect is something earned, you can't use bribery. You thought I was a sheep and I would fall in line. But a real bitch tell it like it is, that's fast, this here's my time. Y'all out here, I should ever love come for folks, but for you, I'll make the time.
Green life. Green life. It's your boy Black C. Let me talk to him, V. Check. Listen, is you living well? Scratch that, is you living real? Tell me what your grind like, do it pay the bills? Just overlooking the field, or do you play for real? Cause look, I'm trying to build, I ain't got time to chill. It's going down, avalanche, hotter than the bayou. I'm seasoned, Zatarans. They so in love with the cocoa. Put a star on they head, they tone Romo. Give them the glow, they some hopes for the hype. Not just lyrics that I write, put my soul through this mic. Like a breeze, way I blow through. Want it bad as you breathe, gotta go harder than most do. Feel the plan if you don't plan to fail. At any given moment, could blow just like a loaded shell. Where we from ain't just the weather that's cold. To make it here, you need skin thick as wallaby souls. Now get green.
All right, it's your boy Sinister One broadcasting live from the City of Champions. You are watching The Booth. I got to thank my man TJ Soares for coming on with us, hanging out with us. My second guest, Jamal Brathwaite, he's going to be coming on, so I'll take a quick break when he's ready to come in and pop in. But I got to see all you guys are out here in the chat, hanging on. Tracy Vent, John Williams, Diana McLean. Everybody out here in the chat. John C. Williams. Who else is out here? Viana Marie watching over on YouTube. Thank you guys for all your support. Before my next guest comes on here, let me get into the news booth and get into some of these topics, people. Breaking news and everybody who's been blowing up my phone because they know my boys live in Mattapoisett. They're good. My boys are good. They were both at work. They got home. They said everything's fine, everything's good, but National Weather Service, 2 tornadoes touched down in the Mattapoisett area. As you guys know, we had tornadoes touch down in the eastern Foxborough area last week. So I just want to show this report. Everybody out there, my boys and them are good, but 2 tornadoes touched down in the Mattapoisett, Marion area. Watch the damage. This is the stuff that Steve Hook from Beamer was talking about last week, and I got to thank him for being on the show. Here we go.
And now over Mattapoisett after that tornado touched down in that area, and look at this mess. Huge tree in this pool here, and I know, Sarah, you mentioned dozens of trees are reported down, and this is the kind of damage we're seeing.
You know, we did get a report from, of course, we have such an amazing spotter network. And Skywarn Spotter came in with a report of 50 trees down in Mattapoisett. And sure enough, this is just one instance where we have a tree down. Unfortunately, this is on a property owner. This is going to be a mess to sort of pick up. But there were a number of trees down, but also ripped up. And when you start to look at the pattern of which these trees are down, when you get multiple trees in the same direction, then you know it would be straight line winds. But when you get multiple trees going in different directions, that's when you start to see that spin, and that's more indicative of a tornado. But if you look into the side of this image, now that we've zoomed out, you can actually see some of the leaves and of some of the branches of the other trees around. I mean, this one just might have been that the wind was strong enough to knock that particular tree down. Right. It might have been, the ground pretty saturated. It may not have been well rooted.
Well, we've had so much rain, right? It's been so wet.
Exactly.
The winds came, and that probably knocked it right over through that fence.
And this is a better, when you're zooming out, now you're actually seeing more damage. Now you're looking at closer towards the home, and you can actually see that damage right there. So, and look at more trees down. Now that is showing almost like a path. You're seeing trees knocked down in different directions. You can actually see trees laying in different, oh, that one's right over a roof right there. That's unfortunate. Wow. But that tree is, you know, in a different direction than the one that we're zooming in with its branches. And obviously the utility crews are going to have a lot of work ahead of them. But this looks like to be in a pretty good area where we potentially could have seen that tornado.
Question for you, Sarah. Yeah. How does the National Weather Service determine the EF rating and then the path and where it went?
They have people out there. The National Weather Service has sent a crew out there, and they will go look at the radar first and see where they, you know, when they put out that warning, where it looked as though we saw that rotation, and that's where they'll start. And they'll go along that path, and they'll travel along till they see damage, and they'll continue going along that path as long as property owners allow them on the property to look at the trees and see the pattern in which they lay down. I was fortunate enough many years ago, I was able to go with the National Weather Service as they were doing a survey, and I got to talk to them about how they do it. And it is really, it's a process. And especially when you have a tornado that's on the ground for a longer period of time, because they need to go through each point and document the damage. And of course, I mean, you can see this. This is just pretty incredible right now.
Wow, look like that ripped right through that roof.
You know, it's just so unfortunate. You know, I haven't heard of any injury reports right now, and it's always unsettling when you have a tornado warning and the tornado looking as it did on radar in a residential area. But from my knowledge, we've had, of course, damage to some sheds and some homes and obviously pools. We've also had a lot of damage to some trees, but I have yet to hear of any injuries from a tornado. But I mean, this is going to just be a big cleanup. You also sometimes with tornadoes, you can actually see the tops of the trees where the root sort of stays there, but the tops of the trees get ripped out. So you sort of, it looks like a toothpick just standing there. And so I did see a picture where we had a couple trees laying down, and then you had those toothpicks sort of still standing there, just showing the force of the wind. And that's how the National Weather Service will also determine by the damage. Really, tornadoes are rated after by how much damage they cause, and with that, you can see how strong the winds are. It is an estimate, you know, they have to estimate what the force could potentially be, but this is pretty incredible images that you're seeing in Mattapoisett right now. This is sky eye over the potential path of this confirmed tornado. This tornado touched down just before lunchtime between 11:20 to 11:30. Of course, we're going to get the exact times from the National Weather Service as they go back and look at the analysis. And if it's an intense tornado, we could also be talking about a longer period of time for them to come out with their survey analysis because they have to look through all the data. They have to look through all the warnings. They have to look through all the damage. And again, sometimes property owners really don't want other people on their property. Well, this is a big headache for them, but the quicker they can sort of look at this, and honestly, they'll also look at the video that's sent in from viewers or from people. Potentially look at this video right here to be able to see which direction the trees are laying down on the ground. And again, if they're in different directions, it's just that is showing the path of this tornado.
And they look for that telltale sign, right, Sarah, that the tops of the trees are sort of torn as if you've grabbed a head of romaine lettuce and just torn it in a circular fashion.
Yeah, you look for sort of some stripping. Like I said, the trees look more like toothpicks. Everything kind of gets ripped apart. And they will look for that sort of marking on it too. This is something that it will take some time through, but videos like this are extremely helpful for them, because if they can't get to, let's say, a property owner, maybe they don't want them on there, they can look at least this video and be like, okay, this is still the path.
Well, and as you mentioned, we saw there on the street, lots of utility crews will be having to work across Mattapoisett all this afternoon, probably into the evening, restoring power in some spots. And you can see in this kind of wooded neighborhood, so far we've seen that tree through a roof, a tree right in someone's swimming pool. There are going to be a lot of calls to insurance companies today, and those utility crews are going to be at it for quite some time.
I mean, from my look at this, sometimes we'll say, okay, could it be a microburst, strong winds. You can actually see, look at the trees right here to the left before sky goes. It's ripped. It was literally ripped from the top. So the tree can still be rooted, right? Yeah. But when the winds from the top just rip it off, that is such a telltale time, or, a telltale that this is a tornado that came through this area. And again, they are cleaning up. So this is the challenge too with the National Weather Service, beating the cleanup crews. Right. Because they need to see which way that these trees are laying down before they clean it up. But this road is impassable. So the crews just have to do their job right now and let these people that live in this location be able to get through.
And you can see the tops of the trees, the branches are torn away, but then the whole ball root is up and out of the ground. It's been so wet, right? We had so much rain overnight into this morning. Then when those strong winds came, those trees just couldn't withstand that.
You look to the right of the screen right now, it's hard to see, but you're looking at the forest, all those trees sort of all meshed together. That is not they're not laying down in one direction. That's the path of the tornado right there. It is clear to me where you can see this tornado was going through. We just lost Sky Eye, but that's pretty it is pretty telling right there.
It certainly is. There's so much work left to be done. Sarah Blesky, thanks for your expertise and your analysis as we look at that path of destruction right there through that wooded area. You can just see how those trees were shorn from the top by those high winds.
And you can see that they're going in one direction on one side and another direction on the other. So you can tell which way the winds were rotating by the way that the trees have fallen down. And like you said, you can see the roots just completely ripped up.
I'm reminded of the aftermath of that Springfield tornado 12 years ago, when for years you could see the path of destruction going right across the Mass Pike. I mean, it's just as clear as day the way those trees lie down. All right, Sarah, thanks so much. We know you'll have more throughout the afternoon.
All right, your boy Sinister One, we're back here live. And that report was a little bit long. I probably should have picked a shorter one, but I wanted to just let people see that damage down in Mattapoisett, where they had 2 EF1s land today and cause all that damage between Mattapoisett and Marion. And the reason why this is an issue is because I had Steve Hook on last week to talk about the tornado that touched down, that went through the eastern area. It was a downburst in the Bridgewater and Brockton area, even though there was some damage. But the thing is that a lot of people, they weren't taking it seriously. And hold on, we've got my guest here, but he's going to come on through another link. And then let's see, he'll sign out of his other one so we can get you in on your other one. All right. So you want to close out on the one on your computer. So I only have the one there. If you can, Jamal, let's see if we can do that. And then I got to do some production here on the fly for him. But yeah, we had Steve Hook on here last week, and Steve Hook came on to tell us about, we've got to take these seriously. A lot of people don't take these things seriously, and the last thing we want is to I hope I didn't lose him. My guest was on with me. And he's going to log out of his computer and log back in through his phone. So I'm just doing some on the fly producing here so I can get him in. Oh, hold
What's
on.
happening, Keith? Can you hear me loud and clear?
I can hear you now. I can hear you now. Can you hear me? I guess he's got a little bit of delay, and we did have these storms in the area, so a lot of stuff is going on here. But let's see. Can you hear me, Jamal? Oh, he froze again. So Steve Hook was on here. We were talking about the importance of listening to these alerts.
I'm right here. I'm still with you, Keith.
Okay, yeah, your video froze again, so it's just like you there. Up there you go. Now you're good.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so Steve Hook was on from BEMA, and he was talking about the importance of listening to these alerts for tornadoes and things of that sort, because a lot of people didn't take it, seriously. They were joking. Some people were saying that storm was weak. this last one that came through, and it was like, if you ever seen the movie Twister, first of all, there's no rain before. It's the calm before the storm and things of that sort. So it's kind of crazy, but I'm going to get into my first guest here, Jamal Brathwaite. Introduce yourself. Let them know why you're on here. You've got this event coming up, and let them know.
Yeah, what's happening, everybody? My name's Jamal Brathwaite, and I'm running for Brockton because I want to improve the quality of roadways in Brockton. We have something called the U.S. Infrastructure Act that brought $9.5 billion to the state of Massachusetts, and I want to fight to make sure Brockton gets its fair share so we can improve the quality of our roads, our sidewalks, and our crosswalks. One, but two, also want to make sure that Brockton Public Schools receives an increase in funding and prioritization from the city of Brockton's budget before the budget's passed. Specifically, I want to address the fact that over 130 teachers and admin staff were laid off this year, and I feel like that they need to be laid off. And so we need, and thirdly, as I'm advocating for an improvement in our property tax system, so I authored a bill called the Massachusetts Home Protection Act, which is filed in the state Senate and the state House. And you can find that on my website at votejamal.com.
And so we've got a little delay there with you. So just bear with us for those who are watching the show. He's running for city councilor at large. He is a candidate. And, I see a lot of people, they talk about this loss of these teachers, and I get it. Everybody wants to try to raise some funding, but let's be honest. I follow a lot here in the city and money wise, and the other thing is people don't realize there was another reason why we lost these teachers. It really wasn't a budget issue. It was a census issue. We lost close to 2,000 students. Part of that is due to charter schools. Part of that is due to better sports programs outside the city of Brockton. So they go to Boston College, high school. They go to all these different schools. Another reason why is that we lost a lot of the census of homeless people. A large amount of homeless people were moved out of the city, and they also lost those kids. They lost that budget towards those kids. But losing these kids overall, census-wise, is one of the reasons why we lost those teachers versus, a lot of people are worried and saying that it is a budget issue. But part of that was the census and losing those kids and losing those homeless kids that originally would go to Brockton schools because they were housed at the Mainspring House or they were housed at different facilities. And when they moved these kids out of town, those kids went to school in Lowell and other surrounding towns because they moved them out of here. Maybe these kids will come back when this new facility is built up over on West Elm, over up behind the VA. When that comes back, we'll see how many of those kids we can add into the Brockton school system and try to get that funding for them. But right now, part of that really was a census issue that we kind of really need to address, because the other issue here is that people don't fully fill out their censuses properly when the time comes on the voter registration. So we don't have a proper count of kids from that also. And please bear with us. There is a little bit of delay there.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, Keith. I think that, like you said, it's part of the topic. So of the $18 million deficit, I believe maybe about $6 million was due to the reduction in student headcount. But when you look at the data over a 5-year period, you can see that we were trending into a reduction in the student population. And so that from a school committee point of view, that's something that really the school committee should have been tracking and monitoring. Not to say they weren't, but factoring in that change in population as they forecasted the budget and their budgetary needs. And what's also interesting is that this need to lay off employees, it's fascinating how the public was only informed about this on May 15th, 2023. So it was kind of like, there was a surprise news versus something that was discussed years in advance, or at least months in advance. And so there would have been adequate planning. It just seemed like it was something like we were just given short notice. And it was, it seemed like there might have been a lack of either poor communication or lack of insufficient communication from the school committee to parents and the general population.
John C. Williams is in the chat. He says most that we don't have a safe school. Yes, there's going to be some questions there with what's going on with Brockton High. He said we got more from the homeless. We did. Over the past few years, we did get more. But based on this upcoming school year, we lost close to 2,000 students for this upcoming school year, which is why they laid those teachers off. And that was the excuse they gave. They said it was because of the homeless situation, of this building, of this new facility that's going on, where they're going to be moving these people out until this facility is built. So, John, that's what I was told. I was told it was due to this new facility being built, and this upcoming census is where we lost those 2,000 something kids. Plus the charter schools also figure into that. So that's what we're hearing. John C., I got to thank him for in the chat because he's actually running for mayor. You've got a couple of events going on, but what are some things you want people to know about while you're on here?
Yeah, so a couple things. The first thing is that I want to raise public awareness that on Monday, August 14th, is a Brockton City Council meeting. It's a finance committee meeting. And one of the major topics they're going to be discussing is the concept, the proposal of purchasing the Brockton Fairgrounds. Now, I want to talk about this a little bit because I don't think there's enough disclosure and analysis taking place in the Brockton public domain, especially by the enterprise and the reporting of this. When I want everyone to really watch that FinCom meeting, because when you look on the City Council meeting agenda, one of the things when you read it, you'll see that the mayor's proposing acquiring this land through the concept of what's called eminent domain. Because when you read, first of all, Facebook, the owners of the land have already disclosed that they were willing to sell the property. One, and then second, that seller was willing to sell the land. And the reason why this is important, the fact that the mayor wants to acquire through eminent domain, is that when you acquire land through eminent domain, the city is required underneath Massachusetts general law to pay a premium, and that's 125% premium over fair. Because if the seller's willing to sell it, why is the city acquiring it through eminent domain? Because that would imply the city is willing to pay 125% more than they have to, just because they're classifying it as eminent domain. And that's actually doing a disservice to the Brockton resident, because the people who are going to be financing this transaction are Brockton taxpayers. Brockton taxpayer willing to pay $11 million over the fair market value. And it's, and so, so that as a city council, this is something where I would really CFO and those who present this proposal, why are we acquiring this through eminent domain if the seller is willing to sell us the land? That's question number one. Question number two is, did the city solicitor obtain 3 appraisals to determine the fair market value, or did we just get 1 appraisal? Because that's important as well, because if we get 3 appraisals, then we might find that the fair market value isn't $44 million, but it might be a value less than that. So in order to advocate on behalf of the residents to ensure that Brockton is an affordable place to live, it's important that our city councilors ask the right questions on Monday, August 14th, to prevent the city from borrowing too much money, which would potentially increase taxes, which potentially could increase the cost of living in Brockton for residents here. So additional points for consideration is that when a city does acquire land through domain, they should be doing it for the public land that public safety complex is being built on. It was specified in the eminent domain transaction that those lands would be used for the purpose of creating a public safety complex. In this case, it's not clear if the city has a very specific purpose for the land, or is a very general purpose. And so this is very important as a function of trying to manage city assets in a way that is prudent and in the best interest of Brockton residents. I'll pause, but I want to definitely make sure we have more of a public discussion about this to ensure that Brockton residents are not being disserviced in this transaction.
I got to thank Eliza Wilson, who actually dropped the finance agenda into the chat for those who wish to read up on it and do your homework, which is one of the things I say on this show all the time. Do your homework so you're informed. You know, that's one of the things that we've done on this show for many, many years. So thank you, Eliza, for putting that in there. John Williams says we increased our administration and bought a bus fleet and a whole transportation department. So he's talking about the school system, but that's a different budget versus that. So, but nope, that's a good point. George Bain, DJ George Bain, thank you. And yes, it's funny because the way you just talked about the fairgrounds, one of the comments that was made, and you talk about this tax thing, was that, they said with this purchase, they don't want it on the books too long. They want to flip it and get rid of it and start, doing what they need to do with it right away. So that kind of makes sense as to what you're saying here. Now, you've got this event coming up. Let people know about this fundraiser that you got going on. Oh, he shut one of his things down.
Thank you.
Are you still here? Okay.
Yeah, no worries. So on Thursday, September 14th, I'm hosting a campaign fundraiser at Ann's Palace. Ann's Palace is located at 277 North Main Street. And it'll be Thursday, September 14th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come through. If you want to endorse my campaign, come by. If you want to help donate to the campaign, you can do so in advance at votejamal.com. Ann's Palace is a very beautiful commercial property located here in the city of Brockton.
Spot.
And an opportunity to really showcase that beautiful commercial place, as well as to meet myself, meet some of my campaign volunteers, and learn more of what I'm all about.
And I'll tell you, people, if you're looking to rent the venue, and like me, I manage an artist, Ann's Palace, if standing, it holds 5,000. If seating, it holds 3,000. It has a second floor that overviews the floor area. So if you're looking for a venue in Brockton that's like above and over the top for a great performance area, this is one of the spots. And I'm not crapping on anybody else who has venue spaces out there, but there's plenty of spaces for everybody to rent, to utilize. But this is a brand new establishment. Sometimes people want to try to use a different place and support different Brockton businesses. If you're looking for a venue for an event, Ann's Palace is definitely a place to look into. The parking is on the right side. It's not far from the Main Street parking garage, which is over there across from Joe Angelo's. And you could just walk over to Ann's Palace. It's on the other side of Joe Angelo's. It's right there where the Bat buses would come out when that used to be the terminal. It's right there on Main Street, right there where the Bat bus exit was years ago. Definitely check into it. Jamal, you also got this video out here. Let people know about this video that we're going to let you show before you get.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So, I love living in the city of Brockton. I think it's a wonderful place. Most importantly, it's a wonderful place because of the people that live here. Somebody once asked me, Jamal, what is Brockton famous for? And there's Brockton is famous for a lot of things, but there are a couple things I want to drop on everyone. One is that 1 out of 3 residents in Brockton was born in another country. And I find that very unique, and that's something we should continuously leverage. That's one of the reasons why I love living in Brockton. I love our unique diversity that exists here in Brockton. But another reason why Brockton is famous is that Brockton is famous for having the worst city infrastructure of any other city in the state of Massachusetts. And this has been like this for years. And I want to turn that around. I want Brockton to have the best city infrastructure, meaning the best roadways, the best sidewalks, the best first impression for guests, for tourists, for residents, for business owners that want to open up business in Brockton. And I say that because in Brockton, it's not about one person. It's really about the whole community being in unison about the importance of improving our roadways. And in the United States, we have something called the U.S. Infrastructure Act. It brought $9.5 billion to the state of Massachusetts. It's important that we fight to get our fair share. Currently, the city of Brockton City Council has never, ever passed a resolution to have the mayor come before the city council to talk about what steps his administration is doing to ensure he secures that funding, how much is being received, how is it being used, and tracking it to implementation to author a new.
Where'd the sound go? Don't cut out, Jamal.
Youth. And yeah, so for improving our roadways, empowering our youth, and also improving our tax system here in the city of Brockton to make housing more affordable. And so that's a little introduction. The name of the song is Integrity, Consistency, and Trust. And I authored the song, and a friend of mine named Nicolette Hinge, she sung it. And it's I hope that you enjoy it.
All right, so Jamal, I want to thank you for coming on this show. We're going to get this video played here, and you know, it's funny you talk about recognizing Brockton as a city, and I've always felt that's part of the problem with Brockton and some of the old school people that are here. They still think of Brockton as a suburb, as a town, and sometimes decisions are made like Brockton's a town. When Brockton reached a certain per capita of residents, we needed to start thinking like a city. Our per capita is a city. We need to sometimes to start thinking like a city. And I fully agree with that one. So everybody, here's this video that Jamal was talking about. And then we're going to be back with more Booth after this. I'm going to get into a couple of topics and we're going to close out the show. But here's the video from Jamal Brathwaite. Here we go.
Yeah, you have a problem with the bad roadways, out of control housing costs. Time we listen to Jamal Brathwaite, he'll tell you what he's all about. People who know the real struggle will see Jamal is one man we can trust. Transforming Brockton is a battle for him. He knows the city's needs, no doubt.
Provide more information to the City Council regarding all available funds. This is an election year in the City of Brockton. We need to improve our roads, improve our tax system, and increase funding for after-school programs for our young people, and increase funding for our public schools.
Bringing the energy we need, bringing consistency and trust. He'll never work without integrity, bringing consistency and trust, yeah. Trust already, consistency already, you know. Sure and ready, integrity already, trust already, you know. He sees the broken windows here, yes. Why many folks don't care to vote? The youth gotta fight to make it and succeed, yeah. Time to build Brockton and make it grow. Jamal is ready now to take it on. Persistent and committed always. Give us the wings we need, keep us informed.
We need a more lean, less debt-burdened government. And the way to achieve that, first, we need the right attitude. We need the city councils with the attitude that they want to get to the bottom of the information. How many streets did we get paved in 2020? How much did it cost? How are our estimates different from actual versus expected costs? If you want an auditor on the job in Brockton, vote for me for Brockton City Council at large.
Hey, this is Mark Osborne, Ward 3 resident. I urge you to join me in voting for Jamal Brathwaite for City Council at large. Thank you.
Vote for Jamal. Just vota for Jamal Brathwaite for Brockton City Council at large.
And vote for Jamal, Council at large. We need him in the city hall of Brockton. So please vote for him.
All right, a lot of guests on here tonight. Jamal Brathwaite, thank you for joining us, hanging out with us, and coming on with us. And it's a good stuff, good stuff. He's running for city councilor at large. So if you're willing to follow him, check him out, give him your vote, Jamal Brathwaite. I got to thank Eliza, who's part of his campaign. She actually was dropping some very important information in that chat. So if you want to click on it and check it out. So Eliza, really thank you very much. George Bain, DJ George Bain's in the chat. What's going on? Chris Gagney's in the chat. What's going on? We're at 7:58. I got to get into these topics. Before I close out the show. I wish you would. As you all know, there's a segment of this show where I show you a video, and then after the video, I have you guys drop in the chat, I wish you would. Now, I had a video that I was going to play, and I was going to ask you all what would happen if you was in this video, I wish you would. But guess what? The video already answers, I wish you would. And I'm talking about the video that's going around the internet right now, the Alabama riverboat beatdown. And if you haven't seen it yet, I'm really not going to show it because I'm not going to lie. Part of me feels like this video promotes the division that's kind of going on in this country. But the video also says a lot about us, the race of black people in this country, where, you know, we had to put up with a lot of stuff. We had to, you know, be the better person and walk away. But there comes a time where you just get tired and things like this happen. And for those who haven't seen the video takes place in Alabama, a small town, which is funny because we've had this whole narrative for the last couple of weeks about a small town. And now you're in a small town, and I wish you would happen. And what happened was that, you know, a privileged group of white people with a pontoon boat, they pulled their boat up to the docks, and they were parked where they shouldn't be parked. There was a boat coming in with people. There was a boat parked with a whole bunch of people. And the riverboat was trying to get in, and these people had their pontoon boat. The man who worked the docks, who was a black man, he told these people, hey, you got to move the boat. You got to leave. And these entitled, of course, white people, they didn't want to move the boat. They gave him a hard time. And guess what? These white people, the family, decided that they was going to jump this black man who was simply doing his job. But here's the problem. You jump this black man while you got a whole riverboat of people, black people on it, watching you whoop this poor man's butt. 5, 4, all of you beating this poor man up. You got a whole boat. Boat pulls in. The other boat that's there where people are filming lets people off, and guess what happens? All of these black people come to this rescue of this one man who's being beat on by these white people. And it is a sight to see. One young man is a co-worker. He's 16 years old. He jumps off the boat into the water and starts swimming to help his co-worker. Myth busted right there. Because this brother was swimming. Myth busted. And it's a crazy video. There's memes all over the place. So I wish you would. There's no video to show because the video shows what happens if you would do this. Sammy Sergio, what's going on in the chat? But it's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy stuff. In the legal booth, a former manager of the RMV pled guilty back in March. Mia St. John, I think her name is. Let me get this. Mia Cox-Johnson pled guilty back in March to extortion. She was one of the people caught up where they were collecting money and people were getting their licenses without taking the tests. She's going to do 4 months in a federal prison. And then she's got a fine of $5,500 that she's got to pay. And then she's like on probation for like a few years. This really ruined this woman. Now that the other person who runs the school, I believe he also pled guilty. So his sentencing should be coming up. So we're going to see what's going to happen here. Hey, what's going on, Diana? How's it going? Christopher Gagney, I shouted you out. What's going on? Also in the news booth, well, legal booth, 100 people were arrested. 13 children were rescued in a global sex abuse probe that was launched after 2 FBI agents were killed back in 2021. They were on this probe, this dark web thing that they were investigating. I don't know if they were undercover or what, but they got killed. They were shot. They were killed. There's a female agent and a male agent for the FBI. And this, you know how it is when agents get killed. When agents or cops are killed, they leave no stone unturned. And they did. They went on the dark web and they broke up this scary ass sting. 100 people arrested, 13 children rescued. Some of the videos they said was just horrible. Horrible. I'm not even going to mention the type of child sex porn videos that they found, but I hope all 100 of these people go to jail, and I hope prison justice takes care of them. Breaking news. Before I get into the entertainment booth, Tory Lanez, just before I went live, was sentenced for 10 years for shooting Megan Thee Stallion in L.A. Tory Lanez has already been in jail for, I want to say, close to 2 years. I want to say almost 2 years already. So he'll get time served, and then he's got to do another 8 because it's 10 years that he's got to serve. So he was sentenced to 10 years for his shooting of Megan Thee Stallion, who didn't show up in court because she claims that seeing him causes trauma. So Megan Thee Stallion didn't even show up to court. In the entertainment booth, I'm a DJ. George Bain, if you're still in the chat, he's a DJ. DJs today are mourning everywhere. DJ Casper, the man who created the song, the Cha-Cha Slide, which I've played at football games, weddings, school events, field days, birthday parties. This is a classic. The Cha-Cha Slide's a classic. When I play it this year, when I get back out there and DJ, it's going to mean a lot to me because the Cha-Cha Slide is one of them songs that, you know, I'm behind the turntable, but when the Cha-Cha Slide comes on and I see people lining up, you know, everybody knows Sinister One. I'm out there. I'm out there on the dance floor and I'm doing the Cha-Cha Slide with them. That's one of the songs that gets me from behind the turntables, and I'm out there with them and they love it. And rest in peace to Chicago native DJ Casper, 58 years old, lost his battle to cancer. And you know how it is about cancer on this show. Fuck cancer. That's what we say to that. So, hey. Barbie reaches $1 billion at the box office. Craziness. $1 billion for Barbie. Killing it. Let's get into the sports booth. $12 million add-on for Judon. Got his contract adjusted. He's got another $12 million. The Red Sleeves will be back on the field this year and getting them sacks. Celtics are still mulling a possible Blake Griffin reunion. Why? Last year, let's see here. I agreed with the signing because I felt like you signed Blake Griffin. You're going to give Horford a little bit of rest at that power forward position, and Horford can rest, and then you can bring Blake Griffin in. Blake Griffin, yeah, he suited up for 41 games, but he played like 13 minutes last season. He had like 4 points, 3.8 points, 4 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist. You just signed Porzingis. So either you're keeping Horford and Porzingis and just dump Griffin, or if they're mulling a Blake Griffin reunion, then maybe Al Horford might be gone. If the Celtics are mulling keeping Blake Griffin and they just got Porzingis, then I hate to say this, I think that means Horford is gone. That's how I'm looking at this, and that's the booth. That's the booth's truth on that one. Also, in the sports booth, Legacy 42 driver Noah Gragson was suspended indefinitely for NASCAR for liking a racially insensitive meme on Instagram. The meme was of a crab from SpongeBob with the head of George Floyd, and it had the lyrics saying, under the knee, under the knee. NASCAR suspended him indefinitely. Now, we're going to talk about this on Drafting the Circuits. I'm going to really get into it and give my view and my opinion on this tomorrow night. So I'm not going to say it all here. I'm going to say it tomorrow night on Drafting the Circuits, 8 o'clock. Check in, and we're going to talk. I got a piece of hair just fly in my mouth while we're live. And we're going to do that. Also in the news booth, right there, the penalty kick that ended the reign of the U.S. women's team in the World Cup. Millimeters. Simple millimeters. And the thing why I'm mentioning is because the women's USA team lost to Sweden has spurred all of these MAGA nitwits to all of a sudden take 1.5 off, because last week they were all Jason Aldean stand and support hats. This week they're all against the women's team, and they're saying, and Trump also signed off on this, they're saying that the reason why the women's team lost is because they were un-American. That had nothing to do with the women losing. First of all, the Women's World Cup this year, it was already predicted that there were going to be a ton of upsets because the field of teams for women this year was crazy. Sports Illustrated wrote a whole story before the tournament began on Watch This World Cup. There's going to be some upsets. So I heard someone say, well, they were un-American. Get out of here with that one. If they were un-American, then explain what happened to Brazil 2 days before. Brazil got eliminated by Jamaica. China sitting at home. Germany sitting at home. 5 of the top tier teams in the Women's World Cup are all sitting at home. Upsets. It had nothing to do with the women's team being un-American. Somebody said, oh, they was woke. That's why they lost. They were woke in 2019. The women's team was woke in 2019. The women's team had all types of injuries. And here's the funny thing. Here's the hypocritical, funny-ass thing about all you MAGA nitwits who are talking about this women's team. Half of y'all, when I was on this show talking about the Men's World Cup, guess what? Guess what it was? You know what it was when I was talking about the Men's World Cup on this show? Effing crickets. I went back and searched how many friends of mine talked about the World's Cup when the men were playing. Guess what? There was 2 posts. My cousin, Reggie, who follows World Cup just like me. Other than that, none of you MAGA people was talking about World Cup. Now all of a sudden you know everything about the World Cup. Here's the funny thing, people. Y'all talking about the World Cup and the women's team being woke, and that's why they got eliminated. But then here's the hypocrisy of the whole thing. The reason why you all said you didn't watch the World Cup when the men were playing was, here's the biggest excuse. How come you don't watch the World Cup? And you know what the answer was to me? I'm not going to invest 90 minutes watching the game for 90 minutes, have it end on a 0-0 tie, or be decided on a penalty kick. Are you effing kidding me? Your reason for not watching the World Cup when the men was in the World Cup is now the excuse you're using for saying that the women's team is woke? Shut the F up. Y'all are stupid. Y'all are oh my.
Sit down.
Sit down. Sit down. Stop talking that rubbish. Don't come on my page. If I comment on your shit and I'm calling you out, because I'm calling you out. When the men was in there months ago, the first thing y'all said, I'm not watching the sport where it's 90 minutes and it's going to be 0-0 and decided on the pen. Those were the exact words of 96% of you MAGA hat wearing, non-World Cup watching, ridiculous pieces of crap out there. Stop it. Stop it. All right? I'm on it. I'm on it. I've been following World Cup. My uncle set up the World Cup computers at the old Foxborough Stadium back in 1994. We watched Pele. We watched all the greats. I was following Alexi Lawless for years. I was going to games. My cousin Reggie, he's been to Brazil. He's been all over to see these games. But you all want to, all of a sudden, y'all are World Cup experts now. That's the funny thing about these MAGA people. All of a sudden, they got a different hat for a different expertise every week, and then they want to chime in. And then they got the nerve to call everybody else woke. You all are acting the wokest of everything. Y'all pretty quiet right now, though. Because of what happened in Alabama, I don't see anybody saying anything right now. So I got to let them know. Canada, yeah. Canada, too. All these teams eliminated. Jamaica. And here's the funny thing, people. Yo, I ain't gonna lie. I was driving around Brockton this past weekend, and I have never seen so many people in Brockton who's from Jamaica with their chests out walking around Brockton with their green and yellow, their Jamaica shit on Brockton. John Williams, tell me I'm lying. Jamaicans was walking around Brockton all weekend. Their chest was out because they beat Brazil and knocked Brazil out. One of the biggest upsets in World Cup history. Jamaica was so broke, they had to set up a GoFundMe just to get to the World Cup. That's how broke Jamaica was. This is Jamaica winning the World Cup over Brazil. That's your next Jamaica bobsled movie right there. That's your next Cool Runnings. Except it's going to be the Jamaican women's soccer team. That's your next Cool Runnings right there. Remember? Y'all remember when the Jamaican bobsled team was coming out and you was like, how the hell is Jamaica going to the Winter Olympics? They don't even get snow. Remember we all tuned in, all of us black people tuned in to watch Jamaica in the bobsled race, and they flipped over and dude's head was hanging out. Now I was waiting for the helmet to fall off and his dreads to fall out on the ice, but that didn't happen. Oh man, craziness. But again, y'all need to stop putting on these different hats of expertise that you know nothing about. I seen you all talking this stupid stuff. Give me a break. Man, Biden bombshells. We gotta get ready to get out of here. Linda said the commentators don't like these African nations winning. They loved it. They actually love Jamaica winning. They love the underdog stories because it brings money. It brings money. The underdog stories brings money. John C. Williams said Dougie Doug. Yeah, Dougie Doug. And what's his name? That was his first film coming off the Madonna video. The dude that ended up in 5 Heartbeats. Yep, Malik Yoba, who ended up on New York Undercover. But dude from the 5 Heartbeats who got his start playing Black Jesus in the Madonna video. He was in Cool Runnings also. Jamaica man. But yeah, they were. Jamaicans was walking around Brockton all weekend with their chests out, their shirts on, you know, the green and yellow, Jamaica on the front, on the side, the Jamaican flag on the back. Walking, you couldn't tell a Jamaican person nothing this week, boy. Nothing. In the Biden bombshells, guess what, people? Pence is running for president, and he said that he don't care what people say. He said that I choose the Constitution, and I always will. In other words, that was a shot right at Donald Trump. Now, I told people on this show, the GOP's got a problem. You got the people who are going to follow Mike Pence. You got the people that are going to follow DeSantis. And then you got that 70 million MAGA people who voted for Donald Trump. The GOP knows they got to get that 70 million, which is why they're praying and hoping that Donald Trump goes to jail and they can make this race between Pence and they can make it between DeSantis. And here's one for the Democrats. Here's the one for the Democrats. And I'm thinking about this because I like to stir. I like to stir the pot. What if? Because for the last 4 years, there's been tension between Two people. Joe Biden, the president, and Kamala Harris, the vice president. Now, we knew that Joe and Kamala, they didn't like each other before the election happened. So when he chose her as vice president, everybody was in shock. Everybody was in shock. Don't lie. Anybody who knows politics, when he chose Kamala Harris, you were in shock because they didn't like each other. We knew this from day one, but they had to defeat evil in Donald Trump. So they had to pull together. But the word is that ever since they got in, the tension has been there. And the rumors are is that Joe Biden has done everything he can to kind of keep Kamala Harris on the back burner. What if Kamala says, you know what? I don't want to be VP. I'm going to throw my hat in 2024. I'm going to run for president. I'm going to tell you right now, the Democrats are going to have the same problem that the Republicans are going to have right now. Because quietly right now, Kamala's just sitting back. I feel like Kamala may not be VP. I have a feeling Kamala may throw her hat in. Kamala may have her people in place that she's working on, which is why she's being quiet as kept. And I have this feeling that Kamala may challenge him for that title to get that nod, to get that nomination. That would be very interesting. Because I'm a politics guy. I love politics. And I'll tell you right now, if Kamala was to do some shit like that, I would be like, oh, okay. Kevin Jeffries is in the chat. What's up, Kevin? Oh, I'll talk about the slingshot ride. Yeah, Linda, that's what I'm talking about. And I was going to mention that, Linda. She's doing a lot of touring around the country. She actually went after Ron DeSantis over this school race issue, and she killed him. She killed him in the debate. She laid DeSantis to rest in this Black History debate. Killed him. So for me, that's what put this thought into my head, Linda, when I said, she's coming after DeSantis. What if Kamala says, I'm throwing my hat in? Joe's old. Joe's tripping on stuff. Joe's tripping on stuff that ain't even there. Kamala's young. Kamala's got black women in her corner. Kamala's got people. She got her silent majority, so it could be. Kevin Jeffrey said, check your phone. I text you something on your phone. I want you to play while you're on here. It's a TikTok. Okay, hold on. I usually don't do this because I don't know what people might be sending me on while I'm live on the show. I'm going to trust Kevin because Kevin has his show, the Triangle Offense podcast that I co-produce. So I'm going to trust Kevin. Let me go into my phone here and see what Kevin sent me on TikTok. Now, I don't go on TikTok much. So I'm still trying to figure out how to effing maneuver TikTok. I got new followers. Oh my God, I got like 20 new followers. Jamal Brathwaite. Okay, I just followed you back. T Gunner, who's on the show in a couple of weeks. T Gunner, I'm gonna follow you back. Marisha, that's a fake chick. Talk Back Live, follow back. All these people, Al Bozeman. I'm gonna follow y'all back until you send me some stupid ass crap, and then you get deleted. Kevin Jackson sent me a message. Kevin Jeffrey sent me a message. Okay, it's here in my inbox. I got 17 messages in my inbox on TikTok. Oh my God. Oh my God. So, I'm TikTok illiterate, bro. He said he sent it to me on TikTok. So I'm in my messages, activities. Where the hell do I get my messages that people send me? I'm in all activity. That's where people like your stuff. Guys, help me out here. Help me out, somebody. Because look, I don't go on TikTok. I know everything else. I really don't utilize TikTok the way I should. And he said he sent it to me. So let me search my friends. Kevin Jeffries. And then it should be right. It should be there, right? Somebody help me out here. If you're in the chat. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's in the happy hour with Lito. Oh man. Hold on. Happy hour with Lito podcast. There we go. Boom. Click my messages. Boom. Oh no, I don't see it. Let me jump back into this chat here because this is funny stuff. Because you see me now. This is the one everybody claims I know it all. I don't know it all. I only talk about stuff I know. And Jamal Brathwaite's in the chat. What's going on, Kevin? I'm checking my phone, and you said you sent it to me on TikTok, or where'd you send it to me? Hold on. Oh, okay. I got it. Kevin texted to me in a text. So that's what he threw me off. He said he sent it to me on TikTok. I'm in TikTok. He actually sent it to me in a text. He wants me to open this up live on the show. Okay. All right. TikTok, Jean Grey's dad. Hold on. Let me open this up.
Hit a woman over the head with a fucking folding chair.
Seems like you got a little gas in your engine and you're a little frustrated because she took a wonderful chair shot. Yeah, that's what we call knowing a spot. Yeah, me personally, I would have hit her upside the head with a chair too. Yeah, I would have climbed on top of Harriet. Yeah, I would have came down with the elbow drop. Yeah, best believe it. I don't understand why you're so upset because she was in the middle of it. Anything goes, man. Yeah, I understand you might have a problem with it. But there's someone else who would have definitely done something a little bit far more extreme than the Macho Man, and he has something to say.
Lito, Kevin Jeffries just sent me this thing from TikTok, Jean Grey's dad. It's a black dude who does a spot-on impression of Randy Macho Man Savage talking about the chair shot. And there's a whole mess of chair shots that some of these people took on this Alabama thing, but you got to check it out. Kevin, thank you for sending that to me. TikTok, Jean Grey's dad. Oh man, good stuff. That is funny. Everybody who's in this chat tonight, thank you. Dave Haggerty for coming into the chat. Thank you very much. Let me get back on here. I know I kind of went off on the MAGA people because of the women's team. Here's another one for the MAGA people.
Sit down. Again, you want to know why? Because all friggin' effing last week, all effing this week, I've been hearing all the MAGA people talking about Hunter Biden's going to jail. Joe Biden's getting impeached. Why is Joe Biden getting impeached? Well, because Archer's going to give his testimony, and he's going to say this, and he's going to say that, and Joe Biden's going to be impeached. I heard Friday that somebody was 100% sure that what Archer is going to say is going to get Joe Biden impeached. Guess what? Devin Archer gave his testimony on these so-called calls and business meetings that everybody that might be your MAGA friends were talking about is going to send Joe Biden to jail and send Joe Biden impeachment. Guess what? The archives were released. The transcripts were released. Devin Archer's testimony, and I quote, there were no business conversations during any of the calls. Let me repeat that for you again. Let me repeat that. There was no business conversations that happened during any of these calls with Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, in any of these countries. So R Squared, who was on this show 2 weeks ago, he said this, but he also said, if you really want to talk about some phone conversations, let's talk about Ivanka Trump's conversations. Let's talk about Don Jr.'s conversations where they profited money off of being in the White House. So there you go. As a woman, I know not to throw myself in a fight with a bunch of men. And furthermore, if I am swinging at me, I'm hitting them and I expect to get hit back. Yeah, Linda, I seen the video and I was like, why are these women even trying to come out here and fight with a group of men? Dudes was just swinging. just swinging. One woman got tossed in the water. I was like, damn. All right, so I got to thank my guest for coming on, TJ Soares, rapper, artist, recording artist, TJ Soares. I got to thank him for coming on the show. I got to thank Jamal for coming on the show with me. Great stuff, good stuff. I got to thank everybody for coming on the show, helping me out. It's been great stuff, good stuff tonight. Where's Ivanka? Linda says. Right? You know? So we're going to get ready to get out of here. Happy Hour with Lito. Brand new episode. Make sure to check him out tonight, please. Because we've got Triangle Podcast, Offense Podcast. I got to ask Kevin, is Happy Hour with Lito coming back, Kevin? Or no? Is it going to, from here on out, is it going to be the Triangle Offense Podcast? Please let me know if that's the case. Because I'd like to know that. I'd like to figure that out and see if that's the case. But let me try to get these banners up here again, these outro banners. Focus you in. I got to thank everybody for supporting the show with these banners, with the beanies. Also, all the shows I produce: She Talks Football Podcast, Drafting the Circuits, Oscar Mike Radio, Happy Hour with Lito, Maddie C Sports with you and me. New logo. It's now Maddie C Sports. So check out the new logo just released. I'll be updating this banner. Also, Fubar Studios Veteran Reinforcement. That's another podcast that I'm involved with. Brockton After Dark, Brockton High, started July 5th, goes till the school year is about to begin, so we only got a couple of weeks left, people. Also, Platinum City Gaming. Every NFL football game, starting with tomorrow night. We've got the Texans, Patriots, preseason, Thursday night, 75-cent wings at Platinum City Gaming. Also, thank you to everybody who showed up and showed out for the Boston 2023 Slingshot for Shriners. We had about 20 plus bikes in this event. The pictures are up. I got to thank everybody for rolling through and coming through and showing their support. So thank you. Also, as I said, tomorrow night, Thursday night, which is not tomorrow, Thursday night, Patriots will take on the Texans here at home, 7 p.m. And then at 10 o'clock, the Vikings will take on Seattle. They've already said Mac Jones and these guys aren't playing, which is obvious because preseason is only 3 weeks. So they got the guys that are about to get cut, they got to play them that first week one. You're not playing Mac Jones and all your starters in week one now with only 3 weeks of preseason. It's going to be the guys who are going to be bagging groceries or delivering Chinese food in a week or two. So that's the guys. Saturday, August 12th, Steve Hook. He has his campaign fundraiser and his 50th birthday celebration this Saturday, 6 to 9, Joe Angelo's Cafe. The Brockton Fire Hockey Golf Tournament takes place Monday, August 14th, 9 a.m. start, $400 per team, $150 to sponsor a challenge, $100 to sponsor a hole. That will take place at the DW Golf Course at 331 Oak Street. Also, Music Night, put on by 508 USA and Music Man. That's August 17th in Attleboro, 31 North Washington Street. Check that out. Also, the First Responder Jamboree takes place Saturday, August 19th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Brockton Fairgrounds. Rain date is August 20th. Make sure to go out and support the First Responder Community Jamboree. Also, the donation drive takes place. It's actually going on now, and it goes till August 21st. It's a donation, I think it's $20. Please make your donation. It helps buy school supplies for them to give away back to school. Also, the Community Fun Fest, August 26th, 12 to 4, Christ Congregational Church, 1350 Pleasant Street in Brockton. And Jamal Brathwaite, you just saw him on the show. He has his campaign fundraiser Thursday, September 14th, 6 to 9, Ant's Palace, 277 Main Street. That's where we were talking about. Jamal is actually in the chat. Make sure to check him out and follow him at voteforjamal.com. You can make a contribution of $25, $50, $100, or $200. Also, Homeland for Heroes in honor of Captain Ryan Phaneuf.
That's 9:30 to 10:30 registration, 11 o'clock, kickstands up. It's a scenic ride along the New Hampshire seacoast. Tickets are $25. That event takes place September 9th. And then again, all of these people who have putting up their political banners on the show, these are not people that I support, because I got to let people know that, because I follow the same rules as radio. If you're running for office and you want your stuff on this show to get the word out, I put it up there. I don't say no. I don't say yes. I allow it. That doesn't mean that I'm supporting these people. So I just want to let you guys know, these are people who are running for office. So please do your homework. Please do your research and then decide who you're going to vote for on September 19th and November 7th. Because you may not like me and you may think that I'm supporting Jamal and then not vote for Jamal because you don't like me. So I just want to let people know, nope, these are people that they're here and they're putting their stuff up on this show because they want people to know. And this is how it is. So this is Jamal Brathwaite, Brockton City Council at Large. He's running for. Vote for Jamal. Also, Steve Hook, Council at Large. He's running. Please vote for him if you can on September 19th or November 7th. He was on the show 2 weeks ago, and you can watch that show on YouTube. Also, John C. Williams, who's in the chat, he's running for mayor for 2023. I made sure to get his banner up here on the show, so make sure to support him. Also, Kimberly Ann, Empowerment Photography, Viana Marie, reach out to her. You will get your pictures taken with Kimberly Ann Photography, Empowerment. Nice photo session set up, make you feel nice at home. And that's about it, people. We got to get ready to get out of here. And you can get ready to go watch Happy Hour with Lito, Triangle Offense Podcast, and check that out. Other than that, I'm going to say, SpongeBob, you know what? Do me a favor and take us home.
Well, see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to The Booth on Hoobazoo and HatcherRadio.com. Please follow the Facebook page and subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. The Booth is a Sinister One production hosted by Sinister One.
I've got to start hanging out with friends that are a little more intelligent and understand politics and stuff. It's just that I'm up on this level up here, and all my friends are down here. Me, nah. You guys, nah. Maybe a little more down in here. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I smoke, I drink, I do my thing. These bitches hating, so you know I got to make it plain. Don't do cocaine, but your chick, my main. We stick together, true forever, yeah, you know we bang. I miss those days, which was easy. If only I make it, this on repeat. Now that I done upgraded, I've been upstate, and y'all think I'm playing. And I got a hit now for these weak ass hoes who think I ain't slaying. Try me, and I'll probably end up laughing, cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip, I don't need that shit, it's like I'm my own now. I get hurt, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything, I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
WHOOBAZOO, that's Hoobazoo.com.
Enter website, enter website, enter website, enter website.